Let's try that again. Let's see what happens now. We just went live for a minute and we lost it, so we're doing it again. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It is Wednesday, the 11th of April, 2018. The name of this show is The Coming Storm. I'm coming to you live from what is soon to be our brand new live studio. And so it's a work in progress. Things are under construction. I am a couple minutes late. I don't know what the state of the feed is like. So you're gonna have to guide me, and you're gonna have to tell me. Things are a little bit different. We have a lot of things to discuss. I just don't know what is this status of the feed. So while we're getting on board, we will monitor that now. Welcome aboard. Tell them we're here. Spread it, share it. What's the feed like? I need to know. See, land of the free is free. So come on down, join the Lego. This is lawless and Trinity. So bend back and start the bomb. All of we is one family. Oh, darling, talking about Trinidad. We have the goods and the bad. Welcome to Trinidad, where half the country mad. Talking about TDO, Bacchanal, that's the way we flow. Shots will fire, waves will fill when we hear a soul calling soul. Friends and Dennis partners, yeah, we own reality. Down here, 1 and 1 could be 11. That's the culture you see. So hold on for the ride of your life. Who knows what's around the bend? And if you're feeling some hesitation, remember shyness and rum is friend. Talking about Trinidad, we have the goods and the bad. Talking about Trinidad, where half the country mad. Talking about TDO, Bacchanal, that's the way we flow. Shots will fire, waves will melt when we hear a soul calling soul. Hearing me loud, what does it feel like? Welcome to the place where the people obsessed with race. Black man, Chinese, white man, Indian, racing to belt their ways. It's an island down in the south by the Orinoco Mount. With funk and fire, doom desire, which place I'm talking about? Talking about Trinidad, we have the goods and the bad. Welcome to Trinidad, where half the country mad. Talking about TDO, Bacchanal, that's the way we flow. Shots will fire, waves will fill when we hear a soul calling soul. Raise your hand but never surrender. Raise your hand but never surrender. Put up your hand but never surrender. That is Trinidad. Raise your hand but never surrender. Raise your hand but never surrender. Raise your hand but never surrender. How we love it fire. Raise your hand but never surrender. Raise your hand but never surrender. Raise your hand but never surrender. This is Trinidad. The Coming Storm. Tonight's show is going to be called Rome is Burning. A tribute to my good friend who posted on Facebook today. Sometimes the best thing you can do for Rome is let it burn. I had 3 conversations today, besides reading that post, that said to me, Phil, how you don't know if you leave Trinidad alone to go through what it have to go through, if it wouldn't come back out on the other side good? Why not just leave it? Thoughts to consider. Let Rome burn? It's up to you, you know. It's up to you to decide. We have an escalating collapse of leadership in the country. Today, the
powerful ladies of Trinidad and Tobago throw away their integrity and any semblance of being critical thinkers when they put out a release that went viral. Apparently, to the powerful ladies of Trinidad and Tobago, the Constitution of the Republic is not a real law. The Constitution of the Republic, according to them, you could do what you like. In their rush to give Her Excellency powers that we do not think she has, Plot put out a release, long and winding, that came to this. This is what you need to hear. We at Plot are of the understanding that it was in fact Her Excellency Miss Paula May Weeks, President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, who refused to appoint and swear in Daryl Smith as Junior Minister of Housing, doing so firstly within her italics powers as head of state and as a italics woman and leader of integrity. It is if our understanding is indeed correct, and we do believe it to be so. You see, Plot, if tonight a jolly fat white man lands on Plot's roof on a sleigh driven by 8 flying donkeys, Plot will believe in it. This is, I mean, I really am flabbergasted. This is an organization that comes out of the belly of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce. You're trying to tell me that there is not one single member of the powerful ladies of Trinidad and Tobago, people of rank and degree, who could have gone and double-checked this? It was enough for them to pelt out this release without due diligence. From the first time I heard the rumors start to spread this morning that it was Paula May Weeks, President of the Republic, who blanked Daryl Smith, I said to everybody who sent me that, fake news. The President has no such power. Worse, we cannot chair a President abrogating to him or herself that power, because then we will be one step away from a dictatorship. We have law, and when in doubt, refer to the law. The supreme law of the Republic, and I keep asking Trinidadians and Tobagonians, avail yourself of the Constitution, get familiar with it. So when people put out, I'm trying to be nice, somebody tell me, new studio, new settings, be gentle. But I had to say it, When people put out bullshit like this in the public space, you'd be able to say, Plot, seriously. This is what Plot wrote. If our understanding is indeed correct, and we do believe it to be so, due diligence be damned, we hereby commend the President on her adamant objection to Mr. Smith's appointment in light of the sexual harassment allegations against him. This level of courage and conviction is indeed consistent with the President's reminder in her inaugural address that we can all do our part. We can all be a light. This is Plot not only giving Paula May Weeks powers that she doesn't have, but this is Plot castigating Anthony Thomas Aquinas Carmona, Max Richards, Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson, Ellis Clark, which is what I'm leaving out, and any one of our presidents who have gone before, for not doing what Plot believed they all had the power to do. Because if Plot believes that the President has the authority to ignore the Prime Minister in swearing in appointments, what does Plot think the President's role in society is? What do they think it is? Plot remains of the firm belief that when acting and leading with integrity, we'll achieve far greater levels of efficiency and consistency. Yet, they were inefficient and inconsistent with the supreme law of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Noor Hassan Ali. Thank you, Sam Dam. Noor Hassan Ali. All the presidents who went before, according to plot, were co-conspirators of the PNM and the UNC. Only Paula May Weeks to date had the testicular fortitude to tell Rowley, no, I don't like Smith. Bring somebody else. Like if this is some version of The Voice or America's Got Talent. This is insane that people of the level of the powerful ladies of Trinidad and Tobago, and I want to hear from Catherine Kumar herself. Because Catherine Kumar is one of the founders of Plot. And Dana Sitahal should be turning in her grave. Staunch advocate that she was for reading the law. Return to the law. This is a republic, a nation ruled by law. Don't abdicate the law. This is Plot. In closing, we take this opportunity to once again congratulate Her Excellency Miss Paula May Weeks on her appointment as the 6th President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and wish her continued success in reinstilling a sense of hope, trust and confidence in the office of the President, public leadership and our future as a nation. Positively, Miss Gillian Wall, co-founder and chief plotter. Well, Freud would have had a field day with that definition. Because you're right, you're plotting to overthrow the democratically elected government. Regardless of how you feel about Keith Rowley and the PNM, or how you felt about Kamla and the UNC, we have a democratic, lawful, legal process by which we change governments. And this it is not for an attrition, because if Plot believes, I want you to hear this, if Plot believes that the president can refuse to appoint, then Plot believes the president can cancel appointments. They are two sides of the same coin, fingers on the same hand. If I can refuse to appoint you, I can revoke appointments I've made in the past. Which means that a president elected only by Parliament, not the people, could undo appointments at her or his whim and fancy, which would be madness, because that is not the power or purpose of a president in this republic. Let me tell you again, the purpose of the president in Trinidad and Tobago is strictly, almost completely ceremonial. The president's office has some roles where the army is concerned, but the executive authority of the country vests in the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. The UNC, awash with senior councils, snatched that foolishness and shared it in the public space, demonstrating quite conclusively that you could give a pig silk, but all you'll end up with is a well-dressed pig. If the United National Congress and all of the lawyers and senior counsels in that party do not know the law, how then do you justify even considering them for public office? A release was put out by the Office of the President, Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, on the President's letterhead. It has come to the attention of Her Excellency President Paula May Weeks that there is currently in circulation on social media a message stating that the President refused to act upon the Prime Minister's advice and appoint Darrell Smith as Minister in the Ministry of Housing. Her Excellency denies unequivocally any such action. President Weeks refers all citizens to Section 79(1) of the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, which states, the President, acting in accordance with the advice of the Prime Minister, may, by directions in writing, assign to the Prime Minister or any other minister responsible for any business of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, including the administration of any department of government. In other words, the President is, and on the President's release, this is bold. In other words, the president is mandated by the Constitution. It is the function of the president's office to appoint ministers of government whenever advised to do so by the Prime Minister unless the individual fails to satisfy a condition required by the Constitution. For example, Section 41 of the Constitution, which requires that a senator be a citizen of the minimum age of 25. Now that didn't stop the last president appointing, where was this clown Leigh Hunt from? Where in Africa? What was his citizenship? So Kamora should have had to answer for that. But this is the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of do what the hell you like that. So that just went nowhere. Her Excellency is greatly distressed and dismayed by this fabrication, particularly in light of her reminder to citizens and the media in her inauguration address of their duty to report responsibly, which includes avoiding disseminating misinformation. That means Her Excellency chided Plot and the United National Congress for being engaged in a conspiracy to defraud the office of the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and give to her actions and put to her behaviors that she doesn't own. It gets worse. Former government minister Gary Griffith. Plot makes a release commending Her Excellency by stating that the President refused to adhere to the recommendation of the Prime Minister to swear in a minister. It is amazing that organizations can jump into such rum-shop talk without getting facts. Some pump fake news because it is what they want to hear, at times by even saying a birdie told them, as this perception becomes reality by many, because that is what they wish to be true. Hence the reason why this was being spread by many via social media. But for an organization to attempt to jump into such rum-shop talk without getting the facts is inappropriate. Common sense would have dictated that the President would have stated this to the public. In similar manner to President Robinson when he did this by refusing to swear in UNC senators who lost as candidates in the 2000 general elections. But to send releases, and he only had a couple days and he still had to do it. But to send releases without getting the facts and alluding to a conflict between the two highest office holders in the country is disgraceful, and an apology for such nonsense should be the next appropriate step. If one is not certain of what they are saying, it is best they say nothing. So Daryl Smith and his meandering hands have gotten lost in Plot giving the President of the Republic powers she doesn't have. When that was put into the public space, I told Trinidad and Tobago, the President has no such power. The President's office relied on 79.1. I didn't read so far. I stopped at 76.3. 76.3 said the ministers other than the Prime Minister shall be such persons as the President, acting in accordance with the advice of the Prime Minister, shall appoint from among the members of the House of Representatives and the Senators. Acting in accordance with the advice of the Prime Minister. That's it. The President has no say. The President cannot unappoint. The President cannot refuse to appoint. The Prime Minister directs and the President acts. And Plot owes the nation an apology. And anybody else involved in that slackness owes the nation an apology as well. Moving on. We appointed as Minister of Sports 2 years away from Olympics somebody who believes that sports is jumping and playing. That's what she said when interviewed about her being sworn in as Minister of Sports. She said, I don't really know nothing about sports. I play a little tennis, I jump and run around as a child, and I watch soccer. She don't even know. In Trinidad and Tobago, where she is from, produced at one time the most valuable football player in the world, Dwight York. She doesn't know that there's a Dwight York Stadium for that reason. This is a government minister, stupid in high gear. She doesn't know anything about the history of her own island. One of two that make up Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to get for you the video to hear her admit that she don't know nothing about sports. And I had it, and I misplaced it. I could be a guy like that sometimes. But I will stumble upon it a little later. In my sharing today, I asked, are you ready to face the reality as yet that the Prime Minister has no idea what he is doing? Are you ready to demand that he fire himself as yet? Or are you content to have this on-the-job training, him, Rowley, and his band of misfits destroy the country while you give them yet another chance? Not one sensible appointment, not one leadership decision, not one piece of evidence of a vision for the country or its people. Aren't you fed up of all of this as yet? This, whatever this is, not only is it not working, it's falling apart. We deserve better. Time to vote yourself a better nation. Robin Montano put into the public space that Daryl Smith was fired because appointing him as housing minister would be to put him in charge of the same victim that he victimized, who apparently moved to the housing ministry, and then Rowley found that out after the fact. Somebody posted on my wall, leave the girl, she will learn as she goes. And even Atto Bolden had to comment on the wall. Atto said, I want to tell you Atto's correct words, only 28 months until Tokyo 2020 Olympics. You don't have to add anything else. You cannot put somebody who does not understand sport to run sport. To the person who was telling me, give the girl a chance to learn as she goes, I asked if she understood what the role of a minister is. Because athletes win and lose on microseconds. In the 100 meters, the first 6 people, not separated by 1 second. In professional athletics and international athletics and sport, inches and pieces of inches matter. You are 1 away from victory or defeat. These people cannot afford to be distracted now, especially as our athletes are operating at such a high level. They can't afford to be distracted now. And there is no explaining what was done here. Trying to put Randall Mitchell as Minister of Tourism is to have let somebody be beaten half to death before and sending fresh blood to kick them in the face. Randall Mitchell is underqualified, inexperienced, and has no idea how to receive a form, sign it, and hand out a key. How is that person going to rescue sinking Tobago? That calm Emmett, whose finance is not really his forte, is the Minister of Finance. And between him and Keith Rowley, who leadership is not really his forte, have destroyed Tobago. They've destroyed it. Tobagonians are beyond commiseration. They are totally angry. Tobagonians couldn't be more fed up. And then UNC knuckle draggers going back in their face and talk Calcutta shit bullshit. But Tobagonians are not fools. And they know the rapacious bunch that is the UNC. And if they had won elections in Tobago, nothing different to what the PNM is doing, the UNC would have done. The people of Tobago are in a unique situation. They have 2 seats. And those 2 seats under Robinson and Pamela Nicholson and then Ho Choi Charles used to sometimes be the balance of power in this country. But it's not so anymore. Because the PNM has created a monster out of the THA that is directly employing more than 60% of the people of Tobago. They owe their direct monthly salary to the THA. So they can't even go to a political meeting that is not a PNM meeting. The same THA that has not accounted for monies allocated to them for more than 12 years. And they still getting funding every year. The Progressive Empowerment Party is clear. The Tobago House of Assembly is not a benefit or a boon to the people of Tobago. Tobago needs to be put on an even footing with Trinidad. We phrase it that a brick, a block, and a banana must cost the same in Tobago as it does in Trinidad. All essential services, government services, must be available in Tobago. Tobago deserves their own university specializing in agriculture and tourism, where they have led the world at different times. There was a time when Tobago real estate was the most expensive real estate in the world. And we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, still don't understand what Tobago is. We are like the fools who had the goose that was laying the golden egg. We ain't gonna know and realize what we had till it dead. We see video of the Panorama. Or remember that ship that we used to cuss? The Panorama. Or let's see that ship now working in Greece. It's like it just make functioning properly, outfitted beautifully, sailing the waters majestically. The same Panorama we used to malign. We are that kind of people. We are easily led astray. We don't understand. When our athletes are training, we don't care. If they win a gold medal, for 15 seconds we will wave a flag. We're not that kind of people, but we need to be. Because what else motivates an athlete to function at that level? What? What will give them the drive to put on red, white, and black when from the moment they start operating at a high level, first world nations start courting them? We just lost an amateur bodybuilder to the United States because he couldn't afford food and they was feeding him. Dwight York's story in Tobago was over. Dwight York's story in Tobago was over. It's Aston Villa and Manchester United that put Dwight York on the map. Trinidad and Tobago did nothing for Dwight York. Trinidad and Tobago did nothing for Hazley Crawford. Trinidad and Tobago did nothing for, who is the boxer, Claude Noel? Was it Claude Noel or the other one who get caught breaking in people's house? Trinidad and Tobago did nothing for Ato Bolan. We do nothing for our athletes. We stunt when you're in the news. We hug you up, we drape a flag, we give you a house in Toko. This is a nation, pound for pound, size for size, is the most successful athletic nation in the world. Just by the fact that we could win a gold medal. Just by the fact that it is possible. But we have such malicious contempt for athletes that we will send a jackass like Shamfa Kujo, who couldn't find her way out of a brown paper bag if you gave her a map and a torchlight. That jackass who thinks that the Ministry of Sport is involved in jumping and running around. That child who doesn't understand that there is only one nation in the world that calls football, football, and that is the nation that plays hand-egg and calls that football. So they had to call our football soccer. So I don't know where she get this soccer talk from. But again, this shows that that's a misappointment and a malady. Keith Rowley is in trouble. That same misappointment that we talking about here, you think we vex? She more vex. On Facebook, this is what she bought. When you're bitten by your own dog, you're well bitten. Hashtag lessons my granny taught me. Hashtag thank God for strength. Hashtag thank God for resilience. Hashtag thank God for wisdom. Hashtag I remain at peace. Hashtag unbothered. Hashtag unmoved. Hashtag on the move. Now I ask, is this a case of the bitch biting back? Did Shamfa Kujo refer to her leader as a dog over disagreement in postings? This should have warranted an instant firing. Rowley has lost control of his government. It's time to dissolve the parliament and seek a fresh mandate. The Republic is in trouble. The reason the Republic is in trouble is Shamfa vote in the parliament. Important to keep. Shamfa could cross the floor. Keith Rowley in trouble. She didn't want to cross the floor. Shamfa and a couple others just have to give their support to Faris or Colm. That's how a prime minister is appointed. When Rodney Charles was telling you all this bullshit about vote Kamala for prime minister, the people can't vote for a prime minister. The most the people could do is vote a party into public office with the greater majority so those members could give support to the designate that they all agreed on as prime minister. You can't vote a prime minister into office. Keith Rowley's prime ministership is at the whim and fancy of the members of his party in the House of Representatives. So he had to play nice. So Marlene McDonald and her gangster group doesn't make a difference. She has a vote. Shamfa could openly call Keith Rowley a dog. You bite me. You can't do nothing. Can't do nothing. Daryl Smith is your member of parliament for Diego Martin Central, and his legacy for his children, his babies, to grow up knowing that their daddy, at the pinnacle of his career, abandoned mommy to molest anything with a skirt. Somebody just mentioned Shaka Hislop. Shaka Hislop and the footballers had to gather together, borrow money, and sue Jack Warner and CONCACAF to get money that was owed to them. Had to have their names maligned. Had to get banned from playing national football. This is the madness that passes for professional athleticism in Trinidad and Tobago. So when a Trinidad athlete leave and say to hell with all that, you can't blame them. Because when you see them stand up on that podium without a medal, you don't know the days, the early mornings, the late nights, the black sky, rainy weather, the travel, the diet, the gym, the discipline. You will never understand what it takes to make a first world athlete unless you know one. When you out partying and drinking, they can't. When they're training for a season, and a season might be 18 months away, to the Olympic athletes, a season is 2 years away, they've been training, and they're training their bodies to a slow and focused peak. They need to get on that pitch, on that track, in that field, at the pinnacle of their fitness and their ability. And they can't be distracted, not in their mind. They can't have boyfriend and girlfriend problems. They can't have family problems. And they do. Because while they're out there training, mommy and daddy catching ass. Problems. Can't get money, can't get job. Landlord kicking them out. Hazley Crawford. What this nation did to Hazley Crawford. Look at Gene Samuel. Gene Samuel flew that Trinidad flag in 5 Olympics. And they leave that boy living in a shack on Mokorapa Road. The shack's still there. Opposite Rib Shack. Ironic. There is not one minister. There is a company in Trinidad that provides medical supplies to the healthcare sector that only they get to offload medicine at the hospital. You could sell what you want. The hospital not receiving it. They're paying open bribes, and I want them to hear me. That I am very aware, I have been aware for some time now that you're doing this. We need an urgent forensic criminal accounting investigation into the Ministry of Health. We need to take Terence Dialsing and Fuad Khan into custody. We need to sit them down and grill them. How much did you get from the blood bottle contract? How much did you get from the hazmat suit contract? How much did you get from the gauze bandage contract? Do you get paid at all on the side, under the table, to approve one certain company alone providing medical supplies to the health sector? And you will hear that and you will say, but hey, just so thing that's happened. And it's just so thing that's happened. And we need to ask these questions. Because there is nobody else in any office of state doing this. There is no media. Because the same giggling Barbie dolls out liming, drinking Prosecco in 51, in the city. They're up in the city. Posting on Instagram, liming with ministers and businessmen, making asses of themselves and everybody else around who think that this is journalism. It's not. It's not. Health ministry is not Terence Dialsing's forte. And if it wasn't for Daryl Smith and Shamfa Kujo, total failure. But that was used as a distraction. I would prefer that Daryl Smith was still Minister of Sport if you fired Rohan Sinanan for what is going on in the Ministry of Works and Transport. I would prefer Shamfa was still Minister of Tourism if you fired Colm Imbert for what's going on in the Minister of Finance. Randall Mitchell is neither here nor there. Nobody cares about Randall Mitchell. Him is a sop to the PNM Youth Arm, the Heliconia Foundation. At a time, PNM was so widely despised in the country, they couldn't say Balize. People would spit in the face. So they had to go and get a flower that looked like a Balize and call it the Heliconia Foundation. You all know that? This country is in a deep, dark, and frightening place. There is a coming storm. All of these chickens are coming home to roost. The people who are receiving the bribes know that this is a criminal country. Their friends and family know. Because you're working for X dollars, but you're driving that kind of car with them kind of rims. You're living in that kind of house. We have journalists in this country complaining that Guardian and Express is paying them less than minimum wage, but they're living in one Woodbrook Place and they're living in Spanish villas on US dollars. I would prefer Keith Rowley leave Maxi Coffee as Minister of Planning and Communication in his brain-dead state. He could do much less harm than Faris. Fire Faris. That's who you need to fire. You're living in a country where gang leaders can get the Minister of Planning and Communication on the phone. You're living in a country where on the second of her 3 appointments, the close associate to a known leader of a criminal underworld gang took him to President's house for the photos. We are pretending that Daryl Smith and Shamfa Kujo is the problem. That is like taking somebody to the hospital for a heart attack and treating them for pimples. The country is being misled by its government. We are under attack from within. While you are distracted by this, Rohan Sinanan is leading a romp through Trinidad and Tobago. The Environmental Management Authority was set up in this country to protect the Aripo Savannah. That's why we have an EMA. That same EMA gave CALCO permission and the government permission to mow it down. This country. You cannot continue to play any more with the PNM and the UNC. You cannot continue to pretend that one of those criminal organizations will properly lead this country at any point. You cannot. Daryl Smith was not a minister of sport, neither is Shamfa Kujo. You need a proper minister of sport. Terence Dialsing is not a minister of health. He never was. You need a proper minister of health. Clarence Rambarat is not a minister of agriculture and food production. You need a proper minister of agriculture and food production. Food production is the most critical issue we have to discuss. In very quick time, food independence, I am telling you all this again. In quick time, food independence will be the only independence in this world that matters. Who controls your food controls you. We grow nothing. When you go to the market and you buy all them fancy provision that come in on the CARICOM jetty from all them small islands and Guyana, we grow nothing. Our Ministry of Agriculture and Food Production is a waste of time. And Clarence Rambarat knows that. In fact, Clarence Rambarat is so aware that the PNM is a criminal organization. At the height of the UNC's abusive romp, Clarence Rambarat wrote an article in the Express newspaper where he was a columnist at the time, safe from his home in Canada, where he's a teacher in a school. Clarence wrote, "The next election will be a battle to see who less worse." And Clarence chose the PNM. And now is part and in the belly of that beast and will not stand up and say, "I didn't sign up for this. If I am the Minister of Agriculture and Food Production, allow me to grow food." All you need to plant is 10,000 breadfruit tree, 10,000 avocado tree, 10,000 guava tree, 10,000 soursop tree, 10,000 mango tree. Plant those kind of hardy food-bearing trees. They don't need you. Invaders Panyard beat for 50 years under a breadfruit tree. They pave right up to the tree stump, and the trees still grow, and the trees still bear. They pave wrong the tree trunk. It didn't need your help. Lime, orange, grapefruit, mandarin, Portugal, passion fruit. We need to be planting those by the mile. Cocoa, honey, peppers. We have people in this country importing coconut water from as far away as Belize, bottling it in plastic bottles and selling it to you. We have Trinidadians who own coconut farms larger than the landmass of Trinidad and Tobago. Yet, if the world goes to war tomorrow, we have nothing. We can't protect ourselves. The Minister of National Security said in the Parliament, this is the next jackass that should have been fired. Listen to this jackass. We will send the illegal Venezuelans back. Why hasn't he secured the nation's borders? This is the same man who 2 years ago said that the Prime Minister always knew that securing the borders was the solution to crime. We have drugs, guns, and illegals walking in this country anywhere they want. We have an estimated 300,000 illegals. And cheap politics has isolated the most effective Minister of National Security this country has ever had, probably will ever have, Gary Griffith. You don't have to like the man. He not there to date you. But he was the most effective Minister of National Security this country has ever had. And the UNC could never hire him because Kamala fired him to cover for Anna and Ramlogan. And the PNM could never hire him because he tainted by being a part of a UNC government. So the jackasses that we are have at least one properly trained professional technocrat who can actually do the job that we can't hire because politics works against us. Think about that for a minute. Think about the fact that Michael Phillips had the testicular fortitude to quit as the head of Sport TT in the face of Daryl Smith and all the bullshit he was doing in the ministry. And Keith Rowley didn't go and find Michael Phillips and make him the Minister of Sport. The same Michael Phillips who have all the families in the churn riding on a weekend, they close a whole highway for them. The same Michael Phillips who organizes massive international cycling in this country. You ever went to cycling on the Avenue, that's what it's called? Beacon Insurance and a couple other international companies give them sponsorship. The government don't help. You didn't go and hire that man, but Daryl Smith you give a job to who never accomplished nothing in his life. And when you fire him, you went and jump and run around Shamfa. Is it that you have absolutely no interest whatsoever in properly running the country? We have real serious world-renowned doctors in this country that should be our ministers of health to help identify the fastest and best way possible to bring critically professional first world healthcare to our people. Why are we not doing that? Of all the people that were available to make Minister of Education, you took a dinosaur, Garcia. Every time he speaks, people want to shove something in his mouth. The man is a fool, a professional fool. And you could get vexed with me for saying it. But every time something goes wrong in the nation's schools, all Garcia suggests is hide it. Take away their school. Take away their phone. Don't let nobody talk about it. We have economists and finance specialists in this country that are counted among the best in the world. I know somebody who used to lead the biggest bank in the world based in Trinidad. And you can't get him as your Minister of Finance. You can't get 3 Ministers of Finance, one dedicated to right-sizing the economy, one to control the existing whatever deals we have, and one to diversify. You can't do that. So we stuck with Colm Imbert and his massive incompetence. We can't have a Minister of National Security who understands that the ambulances and the fire stations and the police stations need to be put positions in the community so that everybody is minutes away in case of an emergency and man them collectively, GPS through the NOC, and professional call centers that could talk you through any emergency while help is on the way. You can't hire a Minister of National Security for that, who will round up the 300,000 illegal immigrants, take them out of Trinidad and Tobago, and right-size this island. Just a sigh of relief that we don't have that many illegals among us. Couldn't do that. You couldn't hire a food production minister. We have people around him, Dennis. He is lecture all up in Washington. You couldn't hire him and give him the opportunity to lead a revolution in renewed farming and food production in this country. You couldn't create a society of farmers again. The world critical thinkers tell you every profession on planet Earth stands on the shoulders of farmers. Without farmers, we all starve. It's as simple as that. Every other profession, you ain't going to the moon without farmers. You're not a doctor, you're not a lawyer, you're not the best concert pianist in the world if you're hungry belly. Farmers should be the highest paid people in our society. Teachers, police officers. We could get to a place where sense dominates how we run this country. But you're not going to get there with the PNM. And you're not going to get there with the UNC. Because they've had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to demonstrate if they had a willingness and a capacity to do so. And all they've shown you is that they are incapable of doing it. So we have to then ask ourselves, is this the kind of country we want? Because if it isn't, we need to band together, one people under one flag, and demand better by our vote. And that is only going to happen when you put tribal races, bacchanal and noise aside. You have to put Mama Trinidad and Tobago first. We must make sure that this is a properly run nation so all our people can have a good life. Because to do otherwise is to leave it as it is now.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can protect our country's faith. One use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, pay the honor dog. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the prove it to be your full amount. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time is now, then
Change must come about.
just as how you vote them in. Vote them out. Register and vote them out. If they don't see, vote them out. State your finger and vote them out. Show them no mercy, vote them out. Vote them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out of power.
Terminate the reign.
Let's put our country together again. If for 30 years you voting them in, and it's only tears, they give you big words,
And enslave your soul.
promising you roads, and giving potholes. If they are the reason why the economy goes sprout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is the passing laws that them alone can flout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is the building ISOs, east, west, north and south, they say where you vote them in, vote them out.
Today I had to ask at a communications meeting to the members, are we tired yet? because this has been a long and arduous journey, 1 year and 2 months running. We've accomplished so much as the PEP that a lot of people starting to assume that we were always here. We're here a year and 2 months, yet we've done so much. And it couldn't have been done without the group of people that are behind this party. Felicia Holder, as chairman of this party, is quite possibly the most effective political chairman I have ever encountered in politics in this country. And she manages, without any funding at all, or very little, to hold a team together and keep them focused. And I want to tell you that our chairman, Felicia Holder, is going to be an asset and a boon to this country if the Progressive Empowerment Party is given a chance at public office to serve. Anthony Defoe, you would have seen him in his newly launched television, social media series, The 411. Anthony is also the director of PEP Media and is doing an amazing job. His shows are demonstrations of his capability, and I look forward to plenty more. Debbie Lee Jaikaran, whose birthday is coming up on this Saturday, so I look forward for a big hug and a big kiss, Debbie Lee, has come from the stone that the builders almost rejected to the foundation stone of this party. Debbie Lee Jaikaran, I'm saying these things for all these little scavengers who want to stand on the sideline and say, because I have these live videos, that the PEP is a one-man party. ILP was a one-man party. COP was a one-man party. This is a real political organization with them. Debbie Lee Jaikaran is responsible for coordinating all of the PEP's public meetings, and she does it with a skill and an ease that makes it look like it was nothing and we take it for granted. I don't. I know what's involved, and Debbie Lee, I see it every single time. Janice Lemon Creaky, as PRO, is one of our most recent additions, a couple months now, about 6 months now. But Janice feels to me like she's always been here, and is a perfect counterfoil to what I do. Janice brings a calm sobriety to all our conversations, and her leadership skills are unquestionable. Kenneth Luke is the chairman of our advisory council. If I had to compare Kenneth Luke to an animal, it would be a termite. He don't stop, and he don't let go till it's done. Few people I have encountered in my life have the mental temperament and the tenacity to keep going in the face of people who join with passion and fail without consideration. And he still continues to go, building the advisory council, the engine of the Progressive Empowerment Party. And that's Kenneth Luke. Maya Khan. Maya is dealing with, laboring with serious medical issues. And Maya continues to be calmly in the background our social media manager. And I boast about her because Maya has videos on YouTube in the tens of millions of views. She knows this better than just about anybody in Trinidad and Tobago, and we're lucky to have her. These are just some of the people who make up this party. Shari Wilson, who took on mobilization. I think finance and mobilization are two of the most difficult things that you have to do in a political party. And Shari Wilson, as party organizer, has taken up this role as if she was born to do it. I pity anybody who gets in her way as she takes the Progressive Empowerment Party to the level it was always supposed to be. They say when God closes a door, he opens a window. In this case, when he closed the door, he opened a wall. Shari Wilson by herself is dragging us forward. And I want to tell her, I see what you do and I support everything that you do. We have members who are in the front and we have members who are in the back. We have team members whose job it is to make sure that everybody else's job gets done. Ali G, I guess she is a force of nature. Ali G I don't think she has no in her vocabulary. And if she wants it to be done, it will be done. And I'm saying these names with pride because we've had some people that come and with the first challenge, because politics is not for the faint-hearted. You would hear that from all through history. Politics is a disgusting, nasty, arduous, torturous journey, and that's on the good days. On the bad days, it's hell. And Ali G, every single time this party has been challenged, Ali G shows up like a sledgehammer. We're taking this forward. Couldn't be here without her. This party is built on some powerful, powerful people, and I want to acknowledge them all. The communications team. Right now we have just our treasurer and our merchandising manager handling our finance team, but we're building on that. If you have any specialty in finance and fundraising and would like to get on board and assist, reach out to Giselle Jordan Young, the party's treasurer, or Satish Ramsaran, who is our merchandise director. He is building that out and helping us coordinate fundraising. Our communications team is led by an invisible superhero, but she is amazing at what she does. She stays in the background because that's how she wants to play. But I want to tell you something. This is a person that when you meet her and you see what she delivers, at the level she delivers, you will think that for everybody else, there is 24 hours in one day, but for her, there's 28. She has extra hours to get done what she gets done. We have a lot of powerful, powerful members. On our first public meeting, two of the people that spoke, Lima McLeod Wilkinson and Sarah Nabi, I watched these two small, young, beautiful women daring to stand in a place where big, hardback, well-protected men frayed. These two, Sarah Nabi and Lima McLeod Wilkinson, are two of my, I guess, the party's angels. When you hear them speak, you realize they bleed orange. To them, the Progressive Empowerment Party is to the Greeks the equivalent of burning your boats. We're going to get home, but we ain't going backwards. We're going forwards. The Progressive Empowerment Party has chapters all through the world now, and it is a testimony to the constant hard work of all of these people. We do more communicating than any other political party now, and the two others, one in opposition and one in government, and they have state budgets for this. We do more communication than them. We dictate the national conversation. We create opportunities for the narrative to include issues that affect you and not just Bacchanal and Old Noise. Look around, contrast and compare all the other political parties that exist anywhere and ask yourself if there is a single political party functioning at the level of the Progressive Empowerment Party. A political organization that has committed to inform, educate, and empower more than it wants public office. We have provided you with a vehicle, an effective, proper, functional alternative to the madness of the PNM and the UNC. But our main job and our first mission is to raise you by raising your knowledge, to free minds and open eyes. That's why we do this work. That is why every Saturday at noon we have a meeting unless we have another public meeting. And this Saturday at 6 p.m., at 19 Stanmore Avenue, the entire country is invited to the first in a series of open-air, open mic session where the entire format of the entire meeting is interaction, question and answer time. You want to have a question answered, you want to make a statement, you want to make a contribution live on international media, come to the Progressive Empowerment Party's headquarters, 19 Stanmore Avenue, this Saturday at 6 p.m. It is going to be a very interesting time. I look forward to seeing all of you there. We got news today that numerous haters and detractors have been falling in the pits that they've been digging for us quietly. It's funny how all the noise they make when they attack us, they do it loudly. But when their own karma catch up with them, they whimper and slink away. I will not do like Corned Beef Man and the rest of these fools who celebrate other people's misfortune. But I will just say, this should teach you that life was not made for this. You are not supposed to sell your soul and skill set to undo and undermine the best interests of all the people. Life will not be kind to you. Do better, learn better, regroup, reorganize, and come again. The Progressive Empowerment Party is open to everyone. Somebody asked me last night, is it that you all don't want people to disagree with you all? Why is it that if we disagree with you, we feel like we're going to get attacked? And I don't want that to be my reputation. So I don't want you to think that that's what the PEP stands for. We welcome disagreement. We welcome the opportunity to fix, learn, change, and grow. What we don't like is people who disagree by becoming disagreeable. We do this as volunteers. We give up life and time and treasure. We put ourselves at risk to do this. We give up time with family and loved ones and friends and just ourselves. We give up our best time. When you see us at a public meeting, you don't know the hours and days of planning that it took to do that. You don't know the sacrifices these people make to keep the lights on in that office. And they do this time in, time out. So we don't mind if you disagree with us, but we totally reject your disrespecting us. And we have no interest in carrying that along with us. If you think that the price of politics in this country is for you to be able to disrespect without regard for other people, you're wrong. And I will tell you that straight up. But for disagreeing with us on what we stand for, feel free. We like a conversation. Yes, we have a lot of people very deep in their knowledge, high in their critical thinking, and very logical. So if you're coming, come good, come well armed, come well organized. Make sure your argument is well founded, because they will. I have seen Anne-Marie Dulal, our Chief Research Officer. I have seen her debate a former government minister for 3 days on social media. The minister had to call me on the phone to ask me if that is a real person and if it is a singular person or a team. That's what we do. That's who we are. We are the first and the best at what we do, and we do it for a better Trinidad and Tobago. When we come to you and tell you we are going to challenge the power brokers that have ripped this country apart, you think we don't know they're not happy with us? You think we don't know that the drug barons who import the billions of dollars in drugs through this country not happy with us every time we talk about a maritime security wall? Today I posted again, build the wall. A PNM supporter came on my wall to say, did you say build a wall? As if to refer to Trump. I said yes. Like the wall that holds up your roof and protects your family tonight, that kind of wall. We need to build a maritime security virtual wall that keeps the criminal elements out of Trinidad and Tobago and keeps your family safe. Don't you agree? This is not time for games. This is not time for games. Our republic is in peril. And if we don't face it, if we don't stand up and defend it, we will be culpable and liable for whatever happens to it. And we have to know that. Deep down in our hearts, we have to be aware of that. Long after all of the crowd and the bounce hand and the meme sharing and the tongue-in-cheek laughing is over, what Trinidad becomes is up to us. It could either be a shining paradise, the best nation to live in the world, or a failed nation, third world shithole. It's up to us. A handful of businessmen, a handful of zealous, deviant, professional lawyers and accountants, and some corrupt politicians could reduce La Trinity to this? Nah, man. That's madness. It's time for us to take responsibility for ourselves, our lives, our loved ones, our families, our neighborhoods, our communities, our country. That's our job. That's our job. We have a responsibility to it, and we need to do it. We need to get involved now. You can't continue just making joke and laughing and letting everything be a joke because we're running out of things to laugh at. And it's not funny anymore. Trinidad is in danger. We either get busy working together to save it, or get accustomed to drowning alone. We need to stand together, one people under one flag. Whatever skills you have, however you would like to get involved. Today I met a gentleman who's been tracking me down, a guy named Rick. He's been tracking me down. He called me this morning. He said, Phillip, wherever you are, I just want to meet you. I just want to meet with you. I want to come on board. I said, okay. I said, why don't you come on a Saturday? He said, I can't come on a Saturday. And I'll explain to you when I see him. Rick came today. And he explained to me Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, he has to go for dialysis because he has no kidneys. But he is in love with the concept of the freedom that the Progressive Empowerment Party represents. And with his limited strength and limited time, he and his wife want to be a part of this. Desperately want to be a part of this. If people like Rick, who's living living under such terrible circumstances, he came to that meeting today, and if you met him, you wouldn't believe that this man dealing with all of that. You wouldn't believe his passion and his joy for life and his love of country. He was so expressive in how he wanted to assist and to help. If you met him, you would not believe that 3 days out of the week, this man is on dialysis. If he could do it, what you have to say for yourself? peptrinbago@gmail.com. That's our primary email address. peptt.com is our website. Pep app, P-E-P-A-P-P. That's the Pep app. It's available free of charge, available for download on all the app stores. 3474-PEP. That's our hotline. If you can assist us financially, $1, $10, $100, $100,000. We are chasing $15 million as a war chest for our election campaign. We plan to fight all 41 seats. We plan to give all 41 constituencies in this country a chance at a better nation. That costs money. We need assistance. If you're interested in operating on the ground and building out in your constituency and saving your friends, families, and loved ones from the failures of the PNM and the UNC, reach out to Shari, Will's party organizer, and tell her, I want to be part of the mobilization team. I want to be a constituency caretaker or part of the constituency campaign team. And you will come on board. If you could help with finance in any way, help us to fundraise. You want to make a donation, reach out to Felicia Holder's chairman or Satish Ramsaran, who's holding on as the head of finance and merchandising director. If you have any particular skills that you think that we can benefit from, professional skills, law, medical, anything that you would like to bring and come and volunteer, we welcome you with open arms. We need all of the good people on board that we could get. This is not ours. It is a growing force for change. The Orange Army, the Orange Revolution, the Orange family, all of it is yours. We claim no ownership. All we want is stewardship. Our intention is a better Trinidad and Tobago. And if what you want is a better nation and a good life for yourself and your family, come on board. This Saturday at 6 p.m., come to 19 Stanmore Avenue and let's have a conversation. Until we speak again, stay safe, Trinidad.